What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Friday night Smackdown review. I'm gonna start this off by saying this. Let this be. Yeah, okay. Let this be a lesson. If you don't believe me about anything, believe me about this. Let this be a lesson to why the brand split will be a bad idea. Point number one, we already went through it once. We know how bad it could get. Friday Night SmackDown was just, when they ended the brand split, it became all about Raw. Anything story-wise, everything happened on Raw to push the story further. SmackDown was just a rehash of what you saw on Raw. Combining the title, doing all this type of stuff, you're starting to see the badness in it. At least in my opinion. But we here for a review, right? So, and I'm gonna show you, do this review. I'm gonna show you why this was bad. So they had like do one of those little video repackagings, recapping stuff that's been going on so far. But they opened the show with a Ronda Rousey promo. And by no means was this promo bad. This promo was actually good. This promo was good. I enjoyed the promo. Charlotte and Ronda worked off each other. They reintroduced Drew Gulak. You know, now he went from trying to be part of the announcing team to now Adam Pearce's personal assistant. He was the reason why in the contract wasn't there. They were trying to do a contract, signing without a contract. And the funny little community thing was that Drew Gulak was late getting the contract to the contract signing. Got it. And then he tried to say he put up a bullet point for to list out what I quit match details, but Charlotte told him to shut up before she make him quit this new job. But she went on to just boost how she beat multiple times in the show. She kept saying, "Oh, I beat Ronda at WrestleMania," and then she did it for Drew Gulak. She did like run down what I quit match mean to Ronda. And like a contract signing, things got hectic. You know, Charlotte flipped over the table, picked up a candlestick. So it basically started the story that she had this plan the whole time and beat Ronda with it. Ronda kind of no-sold it. You know, she didn't sell it like she was getting hit with the candlestick. But yeah, and then she turned the tables and beat Charlotte with it. Was going to put Charlotte in her armbar, but she escaped. And Drew Gulak got to a touchdown with the candlestick. And he tried to, like no disrespect type of way, but the guy signed the contract, and she basically put Drew Gulak in the arm bar himself, and then signed the contract while holding him in the arm bar. It will be announced later on that for next week's SmackDown, they're gonna have a beat the clock type challenge, but instead of it's not the usual beat the clock challenge. Well, I guess it is, but what makes it unusual is that this is the first time they did a beat the clock challenge where the only way to win is to make the person say, "I quit." Hey, back up just a little bit. Yeah. So that was good. They started off good. Okay, cool. Then we get to the first match, which was King Woods versus Butch. I had a problem with this whole match. First of all, I don't want to say the whole match. The match was okay in itself, but the problems I had with it was all of a sudden now we're calling King Woods just Xavier Woods. Now he's not. He came out with like a royal king garb on, but they're not calling him King Woods. They just calling him Xavier Woods now. What happened to King Woods? Because Zelina is still being called Queen Zelina. So why are we dropping? I am thoroughly convinced Vince McMahon hates the New Day. He hates Big E. He hates Kofi. he hates Xavier Woods because every time you got something good going with them, when you can push them forward, they do something to make them just seem like just jokes. And I don't know why, but it seems like they got it off a New Day. Because like I said, Xavier is no longer King Woods. Apparently now they don't even call him King Woods; they just call him Xavier Woods. And he don't come out with the crown. It's like, what's going on? But other than that, the match was okay. I would love to have seen Butch actually win his match, because this is not looking good for the fact that in his 2 matches now, he had 2 matches on SmackDown and he lost both of them. Pete Dunne was better on NXT than he is on SmackDown right now, because though that's why the match was okay, because Pete Dunne, and when the match was going, he was like Pete Dunne. He joint manipulated, he did all that. But he still lost to a roll-up. Not to a finisher. 2 times now he was rolled up for the win. Just to sell the whole, I guess they call it the Woods roll or whatever, the quick roll up. I guess that's like it's some, they consider it like a maneuver. I don't know what they're doing with them, but yeah, Butch lost this match. The winner of this match was King. I'm calling him King Woods still, because I don't know what they're doing, but yeah. So then we got some backstage noise. I think we got some backstage stuff. I can't remember what it was, but then we end up going to Gunther next. It was Gunther versus an enhancement title, which is cool, which is fine. Gunther, this was just another squash match with Gunther. Guy in the ring, the guy tried to pull some offense, but mostly got dominated, and Gunther won his match. Nothing to really tell here, just another squash enhancement match. We would then get, after this, we got another backstage. We got a backstage. Might have been when we actually first got a backstage promo, but we got a backstage promo with the RK Bro. RK Bro is back on SmackDown, and they talked about about what they did last week, how excited they were about that RKO that Riddle hit on Jimmy last week, and that he can't wait to do the same to Jay. Drew McIntyre, they start talking about Drew McIntyre and his lumberjack match. Then Drew McIntyre showed up, but basically with Matt Riddle in his funny comedic way, telling them that everything is cool. And that he was just telling Randy that he signed them. They set up to be lumberjacks, and his match with Sami Zayn later. But they pretty much buried the hatchet between them two. Drew telling Randy, anybody who's ready to stand up to the bloodline and all their crap, they're friends to me. And Randy Orton just said when it comes to him and Drew, everything is all good. So that was the end of that. But once they separated, Sami Zayn was sitting there, basically eavesdrop, and he concocted a plan. And we will see this later on, because that would lead me to another major thing why this episode sucked so bad. Or not so bad, but sucked. Let's see. We got Sasha Banks and Naomi basically coming out to celebrate their victory over Rhea and Liv, and also talk about their victory at WrestleMania. How after they won it, the teams that they face either imploded or it's no longer a threat to them. They talk about how Queen Zelina and Carmella basically imploded. Liv and Rhea imploded, and that pretty much nobody want to step up to them. But then Nat and Shayna came to step up and basically setting up a future feud between them two for the women's tag team championships. We would get like a little backstage angle with Madcap and or Moss and Baron Corbin, and basically Baron was trying to be the bigger man, but still insult Matt. How about saying it was still his fault, but he said, "I'm gonna be the bigger man. I'm willing to forgive you." But once you proved your point, come back to my side and be my sidekick. Blah blah blah. But Moss was like, "Yeah, we did have some good laughs and this and that and that, but me coming back being your sidekick is like you being able to grow a full head of hair." He said that ship has sailed. Basically insulting Baron through a joke, which will come back to haunt him in the feud because his match was up next. He had a match against who he was going up against, Angel Garza. I almost forgot about that. They set this up last week. But the match between him and Angel Garza was okay. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was okay. And it was another victory for Moss. But the big story here is that after the match, after Moss beat Angel Garza, he was attacked by Baron Corbin, who then strolled away with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy, which in turn, I mean, if you already figured out that, I don't think it really, they make it seem like it weighs a lot, but I don't think it really does at all, because they be moving it pretty easily. Let's see, we got the one and only time. Well, before I get to that, they did do a backstage promo with Ricochet, and basically said he wanted to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion like the other greats who have held it, and that he got interrupted by Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Oh, by the way, Aaliyah, she's back on TV, and she was the one who was talking to Ricochet. I almost forgot about the fact that she was in this promo. But yeah, so Jinder and then will interrupt Aaliyah to taunt Ricochet, telling him he just got lucky and that he wanted to be a true fighting champion and really want to prove that he could be the greatest Intercontinental Champion. But Jinder will be cut off by Shanky, who told Ricochet to face him, and which Ricochet accepted, which they announced for next week would be Ricochet versus Shanky for the Intercontinental Championship. Now getting back to our scheduled programming, what I was talking about was we got Roman, the only time you hear him speak. Because you did see Roman, they kept showing the flashes of Roman being in the back of his locker room. But this is the only time in the whole entirety of the show that you see him when he speaks. So, other than them just quickly showing you that he's in his room, that's the only time he speaks on SmackDown. And this is because Roman and basically Roman, the Usos are getting ready for. This is after oh, you know what? I think I skipped it. If I did, I'm sorry. I think I skipped it by accident. I forgot that Jay Uso and Matt Riddle match. If I skipped it, it was a good match. I'm gonna be quick about it because I don't know, as I talked about it earlier. I can't remember now, but yeah, Jay and Matt had a good match. It was very good. It was good going back and forth. They hit some impressive moves, and they had some. This was by far the best match of the night. This was by far the best match of the night. But the end came where after so many kickouts and reversals, Jay tried to go for a splash from the top rope. Riddle would get the legs up and counter the splash into a roll up, getting the victory over Jay Uso, giving Matt a 2-week victory over Jimmy and Jay. He single-handedly beaten both members of the Usos in a one-on-one competition. The reason why I just remember this because him losing goes into what I was talking about with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Because this is when Sami Zayn But basically, which coming here to try to make a proposal, and you see Roman basically. It starts with Roman scolding Jay for losing because now both twice. You know how Roman is. Oh, it looks bad now because last week Jimmy lost. Now this week you lose to this doesn't look good. So he's scolding him, but they would get interrupted by Sami Zayn, who will basically try to use it to disadvantage. That Drew and RK Bro was talking about them. And he would basically plant the seeds in Roman's head, but not trying to piss him off, telling him he acknowledged him and everything, but he just wanted to let them know that they was out there running his mouth about them. So he told, once Sami Zayn left, he told the Usos that now people out there have got my name in their mouths talking about me. He said go out there and take their names out there, take my name out their mouths. Which is obviously a little dig at Will Smith and Chris Rock. But that was it. That was the only, no furthering of Roman Reigns championship, no setup for his opponent at WrestleMania Backlash, nothing. Just basically giving marching orders to the Usos at this point. So then we got a Lacey Evans promo where she basically goes to talk about her family again and her struggles and whatnot. Still painting a good picture of her as this new character who is basically a laid back, honest to babyface, Marine gimmick. We would then get the main event, which was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn in a lumberjack match, and the Usos would make their presence known. This was by far, for just this year alone, just from January to now, this had to be the worst main event because the main event was a lumberjack match, basically virtually built to have a winner and a loser via pinfall submission, and yet somehow they managed to screw that by having Sami Zayn, and by having so much chaos with the lumberjack that Sami Zayn was able to run into the crowds. I think he tried to multiple times, but got stopped by the lumberjack. But once the chaos started and Drew stopped it for the last time, they would get in the ring, but he would get Sami in the ring, but Jinder Mahal and them would try to beat up on, did beat up on Drew. Then they threw Drew back into the ring and started brawling with each other again. And by that time, Sami had basically escaped and ran back into the crowd again, and thus Adam Pearce come out and basically tell him that he said, I didn't think it was possible even for you to find a way to run away from the match. But he said this time he's going to make sure there's be no running because you can't run. Because next week you're going to be stuck in the steel cage with Drew McIntyre. It will be a steel cage match. By far the worst ending to a match because basically it was a no contest. Because it can't be a winner because there was no countouts. You only could win by a pinfall submission, and Sami Zayn ran, and there was no more time left in the show, so it just basically was a no contest. This by far to me was the worst because it's so wide. If you're going to unify the titles, for one, we're going to talk about Roman real quick. You're going to unify the titles at WrestleMania Backlash. Have Roman appear on Raw, with the hype that he's the double champion now. But yet, then you do nothing with him. You don't have no storyline on who his next challenger is. WrestleMania Backlash is 2 weeks away, and we still don't. Everybody's kind of sort of in their feud right now. Bianca's in her feud with Sonya. The SmackDown, the tag team, the SmackDown tag team champions and the Raw tag team champions got their feud. Even the women's tag team champions got their feud. Everybody's kind of sort of in the card is kind of sort of coming together. But your main attraction, the championship matches, the main championship matches, which is just going to be one now because Roman got both titles, and you have not done nothing with them. Roman was not on last week's SmackDown or Raw. He wasn't on the last week's Raw SmackDown. He wasn't on this week's Raw, but he was on SmackDown. The only thing you had him do was being a backstage segment where he just told the Usos to go handle some business. He didn't come out the ring to cut no promo. He didn't do anything. He just sat backstage. I felt so horrible for the people who pay their money to go see this SmackDown because I know that had to suck. Nothing interesting happened on this card besides from the Ronda promo and the Matt Riddle match with Jay. Everything else was kind of just blah. Like it wasn't exciting. That's to me, literally the only good things that came out of this episode was Ronda and the Jay match. Everything else, I didn't really care for it. Everything else kind of sucked. So with that being said, I'm giving this for the entertainment I did get. I guess I give this a 5 out of 10 big ups because yeah, this episode was just. Oh. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I don't know how, but if you enjoyed this episode of SmackDown, let me know. And if you enjoyed this review, then you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review video so much you want to support the channel, all you got to do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification, do all those great things because it helps me give you more videos like this and improve the quality of life on this channel. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Got gameplay for you guys and guess another reaction or so, but it is what it is. Peace out.